we talk about how Service Power is the better approach. Talk to me about that. How is it really beating that traditional dispatching?
Right. So there's a number of things that go into play there. We just talked about like that view and transparency into the service business. I have to know where they work, when they work, what are they willing to offer for appointments. One of the keys to that, though, is I have full transparency then throughout the service event. So I'm getting statuses back along the way. That service business is en route. They're on site. I can get a view into who is that technician and what do I know about that technician. Part of that is so that we can evaluate, after the repairs are done, how is that servicer performing for me as a client? They're running a percentage of jobs for me. Are they giving me a solid first-time fix rate? Are they honoring every appointment I do? I, as a client, should expect that I have certain parameters that I'm measuring my network on. And as I'm measuring them, as I build out a network of independent contractors, I may in certain geographies have 3 eligible service providers or 5. How do I know which is the right one to use? So that's where we talk about things like rankings. And I can understand, like, these are the 5 that are eligible. They're all offering up appointments. Which should I choose to ensure the best outcome? We also want to ensure that our platform is driving that servicer behavior. That's the kind of things that the rankings do. They get the network to behave and act in a way that's pleasing to me as the client to ensure that my end consumer is being taken care of properly.
Makes a ton of sense. One thing I'm going to kind of lean into is I do have a question. Why not just have servicers bid on a job? Why not just have bidding as, on a platform? If you could talk about that.
Yep. That's a great question. And that, again, goes to ServicePower's experience in the trends of field service. So back in the day, many years ago, we tried out the bidding platform. And here's what we learned. When you put a job out to bid among a network, they generally bid down to the lowest common denominator. So while you may think you may be saving on one end, well, I've got this guy who's willing to do this job super cheap. A lot of time that comes with poor quality. And it also comes with the service provider that might have cost a little bit more. He just says, I'm not getting work through this. I'm not going to bend on my rates. I'm going to move on to another place that I can get work. So what you ultimately do when you throw jobs out for bid is you cannibalize your network to an extent. And now you're left with what could end up being your poorest performing providers are left to do the work. And, it leads to some bad results from key indicators for the business. How are we doing? That was absolutely our experience and what we watched. And that was the feedback we got from service providers directly that said, I'm not going to, I will compete based on my performance, not based on telling you I'm willing to do, more for less. Those are the kind of negotiations. And here's another point that's worth bringing up. The way the system works with the ServicePower platform is you're authorizing a servicer to work for you. You're typically pre-negotiating rates or even negotiating rates on the fly. You can do that in the moment, but you have some level of certainty as to when this type of repair comes up, this is going to be my cost. And like I said, I could have 5 people who I know could do that. I can make a decision that says which one of them's the best. I could use that rate as a part of my ranking system. We can actually create ranking systems that are based on multiple parameters, weight those parameters so I know what's most important. Is it cost? Is it customer satisfaction? Is it first time fix rate? Whatever those are, client gets to decide and set that up. But it's all about ensuring what in that moment is the best option to get the best experience for that consumer.
Putting those KPIs back in the hands of the client. So knowing what they need for their business to kind of grow and efficient and track, it's just very smart. And
it's a huge differentiator again of the ServicePower platform. We have our opinions on what KPIs you should be looking at. And generally in the industry, there's some standards. But we do have clients that come to us. We had a client, just as an example, that said, what if I wanted to use the Better Business Bureau rating as one of my parameters? We were able to use it. We said, as long as we can get access to the data, we can create a ranking parameter out of it. So they had that as a ranking parameter weighted with their percentage. And, again, it was their request. We didn't, any client could choose to use that now. But the point there is you can really rank based on any piece of data, whatever you want. And that's a huge differentiator.